Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Disney is putting the finishing touches on the parking garage at Downtown Disney. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train catches fire, and not in a good way. And we'll discuss the top 10 threads on disboards.com for the month of October. And a little later on, we're going to discuss what's on our Disney bucket list. All that coming up next. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 751 for the week of November 4th, 2014. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show, coming to you live from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends John Magi, Kevin Close, Teresa Eccles, Julie Martin. Back in the production nook, our producer Dustin West, and associate producer Craig Williams. How's everybody today?
Excellent.
I'm wonderful.
Yeah.
I got my hair cut in a motorhome yesterday.
I'm exhausted too, Pete.
I'm exhausted. I spent the weekend with my niece and nephew were in town. My brother and sister-in-law. They're leaving today. My niece and nephew are in for another week. But
aren't you all excited that this is the weather we moved to Florida?
I know, it's gorgeous. And we spent the weekend at Universal and just ran ourselves ragged.
Wow.
Ran ourselves ragged. But it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Craig was there. Dustin was there.
Yeah.
It was fun. Actually, we have a cute caption this photo this week.
Oh, yeah.
You got that, right? You got that one?
Yeah, it's on there.
It doesn't have my face in it, does it?
No.
Okay, good.
It's Dustin and Carl screaming like girls.
Fun.
But a couple things in housekeeping. First, want to remind everyone the Delaware meet to raise money for Give Kids the World is this weekend. Kathy and Dustin and Craig and Jenny Lynn are going to be up there. So hope everybody has a great time.
Oh, and Nikki Mancini reminded me that today is the last day to sign up for that event overall. There are portions of the event in Delaware that have sold out, but for the kind of general admission for that, today is the very last day to do that.
Okay. And there is going to be a show. These guys are going to be doing a show up there. So if you want to come see a show live, be at the Delaware
They've been practicing their dance.
Song and dance. I know. I'm excited.
They're going to put on a show.
Out in the barn.
Dustin, can you do splits?
I can do improv.
Yes, he can very well.
Amazing.
He showed us that talent at the New Jersey meet with the
That has nothing to
improv.
do with splits, right, Kevin?
Right, exactly.
Also want to remind everyone the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged every Thursday, DizUnplugged.com, or you can subscribe to them on iTunes. This week, Michael Bowling takes a look at the history of the Disneyland Hotel with author Don Ballard. I'm very excited about that, actually. Because
He's the guy that wrote that book I gave you.
The book that is one of my favorite books.
I love that book.
It is a history of the Disneyland Hotel from the perspective of it's not from a Disney perspective. It's from the perspective of the hotel, really. And you know
it's
what?
in our house. Stop looking like you've never seen it before.
It's a great, great book, and very excited actually to hear this. So check that out this coming Thursday, and then the team. I can't believe I have to read this. The team are going to discuss their favorite bathrooms at the Disneyland park.
I think that's awesome.
That's
As
awesome.
a parent, that is great because there are some bathrooms on Walt Disney World
Really?
property that I would not want to take my children
have
in.
favorites, right?
No, I don't.
I
You
actually
don't?
I don't. No, I don't.
John, you got a favorite?
There are
Yeah,
ones I would
have-
prefer to use over
Exactly.
other ones.
See?
Okay, well, that's
but
a
I
favorite.
wouldn't say like, oh, it's my favorite
I-
bathroom. I love it.
I
Did you walk
love the
across
new
the
bathrooms in
parking?
America. In the American Pavilion,
Yeah, it's
those
a good
bathrooms,
bathroom.
oh my gosh,
The new
they're
ones.
beautiful. There are plenty of them.
I
Would
also
you
like
walk
the old
across the
bathrooms
park to
are
use that?
I would.
Oh, would you?
I'd
See,
skip a bathroom
I
too.
could
Yeah, I
unless
would
it was
skip
an
a bathroom.
emergency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would skip a bathroom to use Morocco.
To use
when I was
Morocco.
with my mom because they had an accessible.
No.
We like
access.
companion restrooms too.
Yeah.
We're big fans of those.
Okay, there's our conversation. There we go.
So that's coming up this week on the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged. So that will be up on Thursday.
Potty talk.
Also, a couple.
Sorry.
That's great.
A couple of weeks ago, we mentioned that we're going to start accepting articles, submissions from folks for articles on the Diz, and that will be going up either Wednesday or Thursday. We had to fix a couple of technical issues with that, and to make sure it worked correctly, but we've got everything going. So just going to do a little more testing, and that should be going up on either Wednesday or Thursday. We'll be releasing information on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Diz Unplugged. And if we use your article on the Diz, $50, we're going to pay you. So there's that. And I've gotten, actually, a lot of people have been emailing about it.
Yeah.
So I think we've got some real interest, which I'm excited about. Everybody's been writing a lot of articles lately from the team, and some great articles. Dustin just put one up yesterday on top 4 reasons Hollywood studio needs to change.
Yeah.
And that's insane. It's been shared like 22,000 times in
I
a day.
got to tell you something. I read most of them. And it's knowledge that, because of here, that I kind of know. I thought that was really well written.
Oh, thank you.
I enjoyed it, and I agree with everything. But it's things I didn't even think about.
Yeah, it's more of a
It's thoughtful.
yeah, it's more of a thoughtful thing. It's not like here's knowledge that I have about Disney's Hollywood studios, even though some of that is incorporated. It's more of like, this is how I want this park to be in the future, and maybe we can all get together and feel the same way about it. That's kind of the feel of the article.
You have hope for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I got from it. So we have a lot of articles going up every week. We got new articles going up on the Diz every day during the week. Just go to the Diz homepage, www.info.com.
I think this is a really good idea. I really like it.
We needed it for a while. We've needed it for a while, having those some original articles going up on the site.
So that's different than ours.
And it's nice because kind of gives everybody a chance to touch on their own passions and things like that. And there's the only editing done to these articles is when Leah goes through and corrects punctuation.
Maybe
and
I'll get
grammar.
out the typewriter and write one.
And also want to apologize to everyone about last week's poll not going up. Apparently there were some changes in the terms of service with Facebook that affected a number of apps, and ours was one of them, the app that we use to post the polls on Facebook. I understand that has been corrected. I haven't looked today, but hopefully we'll have a poll going up today. And if we do, we'll draw, I think, just for the inconvenience, we'll draw 3 winners next week from the next poll. So, but that'll go up on Facebook hopefully later today, and we'll tell you what that poll is at the end of the show. But that's all I have. Anybody else housekeeping?
I'd like someone to fix the clock. It's daylight savings
Yes.
time.
Oh yeah, that's right. My
Can you do it from your phone?
no, I can't.
I know that clock is battery operated.
I have that same clock. I know you can't do that from here.
Unless it's text
all ready.
Dustin to do it.
Well, I didn't change my alarm clock. I was, like I said, we were at Universal over the weekend, and I didn't change my alarm clock. And so this morning I got up. I'm like, damn, I'm late, And I get up, I'm running around, I'm doing stuff, and I sit down at the computer and I look at the time. It's like, oh, that's right.
Oh, but that's a good feeling, though.
That is a good feeling.
At that moment
it's like
that
I
you
have an
realize
extra
that.
hour to get ready.
This
So-
was 4 days ago, right?
And especially with the dog. Well, like I said, I was at Universal. I wasn't here. I didn't get home till last night. So it wasn't something that, I wasn't running home from Universal to change the alarm clock. And with the dog, especially right now where she's at in her development, we're kind of going through the terrible twos. And boy, she's a handful in the morning. She's a bundle of energy. Love her to death. Can't.
And their internal clock doesn't change when the time.
Right.
No.
We found that out.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yes, Sophie now thinks 4 o'clock is appropriate.
Yes.
Right.
That's the way class is.
So, all right. Anything else
Nothing
for
me.
housekeeping? Nothing? Really?
No.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to the news.
You had to be sure. All right, our first news story. Disney's technology group reorganization to affect some Orlando jobs. The Disney's global technology group for its Parks and Resorts division is undergoing a sweeping reorganization that is expected to result in some employees losing their jobs, mostly in the Orlando area, reports the Orlando Sentinel. The restructuring process for the company's global tech group is within its Parks and Resorts section. Disney did not specify how many jobs will be cut due to the reorganization, but some of the jobs will be replaced by other titles to reach specific goals for the company. In addition, Disney is also outsourcing information technology jobs. Spokeswoman Jackie Waller said in a prepared statement, Disney is, quote, restructuring our global technology organization to support future innovation and new capabilities. Currently, less than 30% of the technology staff works in roles Disney considers, quote, new capabilities development. In the new organization, that will become 65%. The Orlando Sentinel reports that Disney is giving employees 90 days to apply for new positions within the company. Other job assistance will be supplied to workers as well. So what are the new capabilities? If we've already done My Magic Plus and
Well,
FastPass?
I think they're moving more people over to that, into that capacity. But obviously, I mean, Disney always has plans for, what's coming up next. But at first, I wasn't sure if this was a restructuring because there were problems with My Magic Plus and they were getting rid of people. But in reading more about it, it just turns out they're just kind of shuffling a lot of things around and reassigning people to focus on, especially in parks and resorts. And one of the places that Parks and Resorts is really hamstrung is in their reservation system. And we've been hearing that there's a lot of work being done right now in redoing and kind of updating their reservation system. The problem is that they're using this software that is very, very old. And
Yeah.
I believe it was a combination of contractual issues and some technical issues that have prevented them from doing everything that they wanted to be able to do to improve it. And as a result, we have some of the issues that we see all the time with Disney systems being down. And but I know that some of the new leadership at Parks and Resorts has been like, this is ridiculous, because the guy heading Walt Disney Parks and Resorts right now is named Kenneth Svensson, and he used to be in charge of Walt Disney Travel Company out in California, left the company to go work for Hilton, I believe it was, and then came back when the role as senior vice president of Walt Disney Travel out here came up, and he comes back from Hilton and he goes, okay, guys, we're in the dark ages. This has got to change. So he's been lobbying for more money to make a lot of changes to this stuff. And so I think that this is part of that. I think this probably is part of that initiative. And I'm hoping that he gets it done. They're in desperate need of it because they really are using their reservation system at Disney is really kind of hamstrung by that legacy stuff.
It is sad to think that people would lose their jobs over this, but it is also exciting to think that, there could be a better organization with all that stuff. I have to imagine, in my mind, I see it as Disney throughout the years, especially with their reservation systems, it seems like it would have just been an old system and then a new system piled on top of that and piled on top of that instead of restructured from the beginning.
I don't know for certain, but I remember being told at one point, and this could be completely wrong, but I do remember being told at one point that it wasn't that simple. That
Okay.
there were contractual issues. That the contract Disney signed when they had this system built was remarkably prohibitive, and that has been an ongoing issue. And the way it was set up in order to change it, I think it sounded to me like it was about building a new one from the ground up. And when you are this size and, dealing with the volume that Disney deals with, I can't imagine.
It's tough.
I know when I think about it from a dream standpoint, if we had to rebuild our reservation engine from the ground up, that would be massive. And, obviously we're a speck compared to Disney.
One of the issues with Disney that I know for a fact, this is actually something I actually know for sure, is that a lot of their technology was built piecemeal. So let's say, for example, their dining reservation was built as a separate module from the full reservation system. So when it came time to integrate all of these, they had to make a decision. What do we do? Do we just make them talk to each other? Do we completely revamp the whole thing? So this is what you find, with every system at Disney, is there's this decision of how do you handle that legacy system going forward. So hopefully that's where this is going. I mean, I don't know. It sounds to me, though, that this is, I know you have more to say on this, but it sounds to me like this is a little bit beyond just reservations. It sounds like they might be going to something else.
Well, no, absolutely.
Cool,
But
new.
the fact that it's parks and resorts is specified in the article is kind of your, that's the buzzword for Walt Disney Travel, parks and resorts. So I think that's definitely a big part of it. Of course, there are other initiatives, I'm sure. I don't know what they are, but, I think it's safe to say that there are other initiatives, not just within My Magic Plus and My Disney Experience, but beyond that they're working on and they're looking at. But also keep in mind that Disney, and especially in terms of the internet, they've only embraced technology in the last 7 years. There was a lot of the leadership at Disney for a long time was old guard. These are guys who came up through, the rank and file from the travel industry, retail travel, airlines, things like that. And so adopting some of this new technology kind of came slowly. There was a recent, on several levels, we've talked about it, a lot of changes in terms of the leadership now. And a lot of people that have been brought in are people who are, I think, much more in touch and in tune with technology and what it can do. And so I think that's part of this, generally speaking. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think it sounds like they're doing a good job, too, of trying to replace, put these people in different positions. So.
Yeah.
All right, our second news story. Opening date is set for Disney Springs Parking Garage. Can you believe it, Pete?
Hallelujah.
Visitors to Downtown Disney can start using the complex's first new parking garage on November 20th. Oh. The garage opened for a trial run for employees.
Are you putting that on your calendars?
The garage opened for a trial run for employees only this past Sunday. Additional levels will open for the general public 2.5 weeks after that, Disney said. The opening of the garage should help alleviate congestion in the area. Getting around and parking has been particularly difficult during Downtown Disney's expansion. The complex is doubling its number of dining, shopping, and entertainment options as it transforms into an area called Disney Springs. The project includes 2 parking garages with 60,000 spaces. 6,000 spaces.
Like, whoa!
I'm never going back.
I even think 6,000 spaces sounds like a lot.
60,000.
It also includes 2 pedestrian bridges, widening of Buena Vista Drive with dedicated bus lanes, and an extension off Interstate 4 exit ramp that will lead directly into the garage. The garage has 5 levels with about 4,000 parking spaces. On November 20th, the 1st through 4th levels will be partly open with about 1,700 spaces available. In December, nearly 3,000 spaces will then become available. Features such as entrance ramps and escalators also still need to be added.
So if they need to add entrance ramps, how do we get into it?
You just jump from I-4.
Is there going to be a charge
I'll
for
tell you what,
parking?
it's not going to we haven't heard. I don't think so.
There better not be.
No, I doubt it.
There is speculation that perhaps there might be. There's speculation that they might continue the valet service so that those who don't want to go and park on the 5th floor of the 60,000 parking spot garage, 6,000.
One of the chatterati wants to know when the FastPass window opens.
Exactly.
I've come to a place where I'm not ranting about this anymore. They're opening the garage. I'm ready to move on. I want to get back to Downtown Disney. I really do. I want to get back. I used to love going over there and just walking around, hanging out, doing some shopping, taking my mother over there. I won't go. I won't go. It's too much. When it takes 45 minutes to get from the entrance of Hollywood Studios to the gas station across the street from Pleasure Island. Okay, no. So once this opens, you know what? I'm ready to move on. I'm excited about Disney Springs. I am. I cannot wait. Everything I'm seeing, everything I'm hearing, it sounds like it's going to be awesome. It sounds like it's going to be awesome. So I'm just excited for this to move forward and open the damn parking garage already.
I'm actually quite excited about this. I used to be a cashier / person that worked at a parking garage, so I kind of know parking garages. And
He's
I'm
an expert on.
I don't know what to say to that.
Exactly.
Yeah, really.
There are no words.
I worked at one that was an entire city block, and it was only 2,000 spaces, and that was 5 stories tall. So I'm interested to see what the flow of all these
Of 60,000.
600,000 spaces.
I'm interested to see what the flow of this parking deck is. It sounds like it's going to be innovative.
What
and
is
neat.
Universal's parking deck? Do we know?
I
have no idea.
It feels like it's
Craig,
double
why don't you
that.
know this?
You really want this information at your fingertips.
Let me tell you something. Craig was with us this weekend. This guy knows Universal like the
Yes,
back
he
of his
does.
hand.
Absolutely.
Like
does.
the back of his hand.
I was asking him
Like Dustin
questions.
knows parking garages.
Yes, really.
He was my buddy at the FAM, and he educated me.
Anything we asked him, he had an immediate answer for, and he was right. So, just bravo to you.
Half the time, our guide was wrong, and Craig, he was like, no,
No,
she's
that's
telling
not
us incorrect information.
Oh, Craig was great this
Thank
weekend.
You don't know how many parking spots.
really don't. I mean,
I
There's a
remember
lot.
When Universal opened that parking garage, they said it was one of the structures on Earth that you could see from space.
It seems like
the
it's
Great
forever.
Wall. That was a
What, Universal's parking garage?
universal
Yeah.
parking spot. Universal's parking garage is a building that's visible from space. It's so big.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Did you make
It is
that up?
big, but yeah, wow.
Well, they also have 2, so that makes an even bigger blah. Just
We're all
fumbled my
having
words.
trouble today.
Yeah.
It feels like it's twice that to me. When I look at the amount of people who come in through those moving sidewalks and don't get out of my way, it feels like there's 12,000 of them.
I would actually probably say there's between 10 to 12,000 parking spaces between both structures. If the one at Disney Springs has 60,000, I would say. I would say it's
We have to
probably
start
between
correcting
10
these
and
people.
12.
I don't want people starting to think that it really is 60,000. 6,000.
60.
But
It's like a big city.
just excited to see it open.
Yep.
Sure. All right, our third news story, third and final
This
news
is
story.
scary.
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train catches fire at Walt Disney World, likely caused by firework embers. A small portion of the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train attraction at Walt Disney World caught fire on Saturday night with embers from fireworks at the Magic Kingdom when embers from fireworks at the Magic Kingdom landed on the exterior of the attraction. The nightly fireworks had just ended when embers landed on the building outside the attraction about 10:30 p.m., igniting the fire, a Disney spokeswoman said. The fire was first reported on social media about 10:20 p.m.
Which is about when we heard about it, yeah.
Yep. Reedy Creek Fire Department responded and extinguished the fire within minutes, according to eyewitnesses. An aerial ladder was used to put out the fire. The fire was quickly put out and no one was hurt, a Disney spokeswoman said. Blah, blah, blah. Reedy Creek fire officials said the fire likely started when fallout fireworks landed on top of the attraction and ignited decorative materials on the outside of the structure. Quote, "We believe fireworks fell from the Magic Kingdom fireworks show and the ash landed at the top of the attraction, catching the fake grass on fire." Bo Jones, spokesman for the Reedy Creek Fire Department, said in a statement. Why is that funny?
That sounds made
Oh,
up.
you said it, Bo Jones.
He goes by Bones.
The fire was contained to just the grass and did not get into the building or structure, said Bo.
Bo knows fire.
Bo knows fire. That's an old commercial. The fire occurred during regular park hours and was difficult to access due to its location. Passengers on the ride were able to get off safely. No injuries or major structural damage was reported. The coaster was closed for 2 hours before reopening around midnight.
Aren't you surprised this hasn't happened before?
It has happened before. It happened a few months ago at Little Mermaid. Same
I didn't
thing.
know
That embers from the fireworks landed on that and caught it on fire. Same thing. It was, there was no structural damage. They closed it for a few hours, got everybody off, and reopened it. But this is now the second time that this has happened. So I'm, what? I don't know what they do about this other than I think the only thing they really can do is install sprinkler systems on the top of those attractions that will go off during the fireworks.
They need to just get rid of the fireworks that are set off right at the castle. Most of those aren't even necessary, and all it does is cause smoke that blocks the real fireworks you want to see in the back.
In this section, this before, the mine train and all that before was off. It wasn't where we were, right? This is like the new area.
What are you talking about?
Okay, okay.
He's saying, is it closer to the castle than
Right,
the
is it
previous,
closer than
areas
the
that
things
there?
were before? You know, because this and
The
Little
picture looked
Mermaid.
to me like someone was taking the video and the pictures I saw looked like someone was taking pictures from the FastPass entrance in. So
Yep.
that's closest to the castle for sure.
What they
So it's
usually
gotta be the
do
castle
is they'll
side.
spray down Fantasyland and no one's allowed back there. But if one of those fireworks that's shot off of the castle catches a good wind and lands onto that mine train, it's going to
Don't
catch
they
fire
spray down
unless
a lot of things though?
I don't know. Did you guys notice on Saturday night we were at Halloween Horror Nights over at Universal, and on the top of the haunted houses where they were tents, all of them had sprinklers going the entire time.
Yeah, and I don't know if their fireworks could reach that.
Well, I don't think it was about fire. I think it was just about fire safety because they had a lot of people and a lot of stuff in tents. So, picture that. But
I think what bothers me the most about this is I would think that everything at the Magic Kingdom would be flame resistant. I would think that they would take such good care into making sure that while it looked real, like real grass on top of the roofs, that it would be some material that would not catch fire.
Well, there's flame resistant, and then there's fireproof, and they can't make fireproof.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah, but you look at let's look for just a quick moment. One of the things I was sort of enamored about at Seven Dwarfs Mine Train was they have these really cool lampposts. And the lampposts look like chunks of trees that have been hewn down and painted. And when I went over and touched it, it was obviously not wood. However, they look just like wood. So why isn't everything made out of some material like that, some that wouldn't catch fire?
Well, I don't know.
It just
Wouldn't
seems
look
like
right.
this is.
They can't do everything. I mean, how do they make grass that?
It'd have to be steel grass, right?
No, it could be some composite material. It could be plastic that would melt rather than catch fire.
Oh, that would be good for your lungs, right?
Well,
They make kids' pajamas flame retardant.
Oh, and I never put my kids in
Yeah,
them either.
but
We
those are-
took
they're
our
not good
chances.
They
for
wouldn't
your-
burn; they would just melt.
Really? I don't know. This seems like it seems like this shouldn't be a problem that they're having.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be an issue at all. And for some reason, for it to happen, it seems weird.
Well-
One of the things, though, I will say is that the weather's been so dry that could be,
weather's
something
been very dry. We've not had a lot of rain lately.
right.
Certainly been cold. I mean, it was in the 40s Saturday night. I mean, it was downright
Wonderful,
cold.
wasn't it?
It was gorgeous. I
That
loved
makes
it.
those embers
Absolutely
last
loved it.
longer and hit the ground hot.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're going to do something. I mean, obviously now that the second story of this happening, so I think this is probably getting an enormous amount of attention internally right now.
This is also rough because in a time of social media, you can't hide anything.
No.
The slightest
Flames on a
thing.
building.
Right. Yeah, but in the past, you might have said, I was at Walt Disney World and something caught fire, and you have to wait for your film to be developed before you could show somebody.
There was a time, I don't know if you remember it, but speaking about social media, do you remember when the man passed away under Planet Hollywood?
Yep.
Yes, in the moat. Yeah.
They said that was the first time that Disney ever admitted that someone passed away on Disney property.
They had no choice.
The thought process always was they would call in the ambulance and they would not pronounce them dead until they left Disney property. And Disney, would say no one's ever, died on Disney property. Well, that wasn't actually the case. They just wouldn't pronounce them dead. So what's happened is social media and the fact that people now know everything as soon as it happens changes a whole
It
lot.
does.
They have to be a lot more honest, a lot more forthcoming.
Now, shifting the discussion away from this a little bit, but still keeping it in the new Fantasyland realm, I want to discuss a little bit about a rumor that we heard over the weekend. We have it on very good authority. I'll say that, but I'm still classifying this as a rumor that they are going to be opening up Be Our Guest for breakfast. And I think that is, it's got to be in response to the absolute ridiculous amount of complaints that we see from people that say they want to get in there and can't. Opening it up for breakfast, I think, would be brilliant. I think that would, you're going to at least add, I don't know how many people that restaurant
Right.
can handle an hour,
Bunch
but
of seats, right.
you got to figure it can process some people. opening that up for fast passes, because right now you can, if you're staying on property, you can get a fast pass to be our guest for lunch, and that's even gotten very difficult to get now. But they're saying, what we're hearing is that it's going to be the February-March timeframe where they're going to start offering this. And what do we think? We think that's a good idea?
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be a character meal. It's not going to be a character meal. We've heard that.
Even if it's the same system where it's sort of the fast food, place your order, sit down thing, I think it's a great idea.
I do too.
It gives people an opportunity to be in that building.
I would love to have breakfast in there. Just, I think that would be a cool place, a cool venue for breakfast.
Even though it'd be even cooler if it was character. Can you imagine like Mrs. Potts, and Chip and all those
Yeah.
characters running
If this
around
beca-
for breakfast? That would be
maybe
amazing.
once the brouhaha over this dies down. First of all, what they've done is they've taken theming in the restaurant even higher.
Oh,
So
It's incredible.
I think once this becomes, it's not the hottest thing. Well, that's kind of sad when there's a fire in Fantasyland. Once it's not the new kid on the block. I think you will probably see the characters are in.
but I wonder
there.
when that happens with this. I mean, it took a solid few years for it to die down with.
Well, when they open something new,
Well,
there's going to
yeah,
be,
true.
they're
Or
going to
raises the price, or
Right.
makes it more difficult to get.
Right.
Or there's
So
enough
sell-
complaints
yeah.
on the board that listen, they served me,
It was.
salmon on toast for breakfast or something.
It was amazing how much how much water was thrown on the fire of Le Cellier when they moved it to two dining credits, 2 table service credits.
Yeah, all of a sudden people's vacations weren't ruined when they
Yeah,
couldn't get
exactly.
a
It wasn't as important.
Something that happened on our fam, which I thought was really, really interesting and also a little scary. We were with our family walk through the new Fantasyland. We got a tour of it, and people were in line for lunch at Be Our Guest at 10:30 a.m. These are people who obviously didn't have the fast pass for it, and so they've taken their morning now, and they're standing in line for at least an hour because I assume they don't serve lunch until 11:30.
But I think they've done away with that standby line now for lunch. I think they're not doing it
Was
anymore.
how many weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
No, not even, right, too?
Yeah.
I've heard it's either going away or has gone away. But
I don't
could be
get
wrong.
it.
I could be wrong on that.
I have yet to eat at Be Our Guest for any meal. I don't see I'm waiting for it to die down.
You're old and bitter.
I am old and bitter.
I went with Corey for some sort of like intro.
I mean, I've
thing.
walked through, but
Yeah.
I don't
It's a
know.
great space.
It's a great
It's a
space
great
to have a meal.
space.
The meal
but-
we had was really good, but it was very early on in the process, so I don't
too.
know if
I
quality has
had
diminished.
dinner there just a few months ago, and I got to tell you, I thought it was excellent. I had lunch there a few months ago. Thought it was excellent.
Someone in chat just pointed out if the rest of the restaurants in the Magic Kingdom beefed up their selections and their menus, it might take some of the pressure off Be Our Guest.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. I agree.
Yeah, go for breakfast. I think they should. If Disney's smart, there you go. Maximize revenue. It's going to be open anyway.
So that's the rumor that February-March time frame, Be Our Guest will be open for breakfast.
Cool beans.
So we'll wait and see if that actually pans out.
All right, that'll do it for the news.
All right, thank you, John. We're going to move on to last week's Where in the World. I gave you an easy one. For those watching, this was the picture that we put up, and the vast majority of you got it correct. It was, in fact, Port Orleans Riverside was the location of that picture.
I think pretty much everybody.
Everybody pretty much got it. But I threw you an easy one, and that's the last one, the easy one you're getting. Now I'm just going to make them. It's just going to be like a little speck.
Grain of sand.
Grain of sand, and you're going to have to tell me where it's from. This week, for a caption we came up with something. Like I said, we were in Universal over the weekend, and I was playing with my new camera and got a picture of Dustin and my nephew Carl on the Hulk coaster, and was able to get this shot of them, and I thought that would make a great...
How did you get this shot?
The Hulk coaster, there's a bridge that you can stand on, and the car comes right down. And I was just doing rapid fire shots.
I was going to say, how did you get that one?
That's really good.
This camera's amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's really that's
The
incredible.
Nikon D800. I love this camera. I've been taking
Dustin
some great
looks like
pictures.
he's peeing his panties.
He's holding on for dear life. Carl's like, woohoo!
Did you know where they were seated, or did you just take a guess?
I told them to wait for the front.
All right.
and to give me an idea. Text me when he was getting on, and he did. He let me know we were getting ready to get on, so I knew their car was coming. And
So you have 4,000 pictures of other people?
no, I actually
Just probably like approaching, and passing you, right?
Yeah, I was
That's how you
doing.
did it, yeah.
I was doing rapid shot.
cool.
So
Gosh, I can't do stuff like that anymore. I did the one
ride the
side
Hulk?
of the Dragon Challenge, whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
I felt like I was drunk when I got off, and I'd had no alcohol because this was early in the morning. I was like, okay, no more coasters for
I
me.
make most of my decisions based on how it's going to make me feel afterwards. I think I just don't want to do it. I don't want to have a hurt back. I don't want my head to hurt.
I stopped riding the Tower of Terror. It made me queasy.
Oh, really?
And
I
I've
love
ridden
that.
it enough times, and now I just tell people, listen, it makes me sick for the rest of the day. I don't have anything to prove.
I think mine's more about going upside down. I
Is that-
shouldn't go upside down.
yeah, I can't do the upside down thing.
Or the spinning.
Spinning doesn't bother me. Tower of Terror doesn't bother me.
Because I love Everest and I love Tower of Terror. It's more about the going upside down. It has to be.
even when I went on Everest, like I think it was last year, at the end of it, I was like, okay, wow, that was extreme.
Really?
So yeah, as I'm getting older, I'm getting wimpier
Did you
when
ever
it
see
comes
this
to that
The
stuff.
Modern Family where Phil realizes he can't ride roller coasters anymore? It's the same conversation they had on TV. We all said the same thing.
Well, Dustin and my nephew certainly can and did. And so this is the caption this for this week. Go to facebook.com/DizUnplugged and give us your caption. We'll read the 3 we like best next week on the show. And we are going to head on over now to Rapid Fire, and we'll start with John.
All right. Mine is that Disney Cruise Line has extended their onboard rebooking window to 24
This
months.
is so funny.
Just a real quick sort of recap if someone doesn't know what I'm talking about. When you're on a Disney cruise, you can rebook a new cruise in the future and get whatever perks are being offered at that time. Usually it's a discount.
It's always a good deal.
It's always a good deal. It's better than what you get if you wait till you got home, but it's usually a discount and a shipboard credit and possibly a reduced deposit. And it used to be you could book any date you wanted, any future date you wanted that was available, and then continue to push that back until you actually wanted to travel. And people were doing this for years. They would push their reservation forward and forward and forward. So a while ago, Disney decided we are going to limit that policy. You can only push your reservation back to 18 months from the day you make it on board. So if you were looking to travel...
Originally, it was
infinity.
unlimited.
You could do whatever you wanted. So if you were looking to travel 2 or 3 years from now, the people weren't rebooking because you only had 18 months to travel. Well, now they've gone from 18 months to 24 months. However, there's a couple of good news points. Well, that's a good news unto itself. But there's a couple of good news points in this, in that everybody who was booked already under the old policy is grandfathered into this 24-month policy. Unfortunately, it's affected some of our clients who just missed that 18-month window. So we're trying to see if Disney will do a case-by-case basis to fix that. But 24 months is better than 18, and hopefully someday Disney will realize that that's just silly, because other cruise lines do forever. They actually do a placeholder reservation that's called a future cruise, and you can use it whenever you want.
Well, it to limit it to first to 18 months was unrealistic because
Who can
afford
most
that?
people, right.
And most clients, you're going to go. They cruise every other year, and they want to cruise the same time of year. At least mine do. So this going back to 24 months is helpful, but to do the infinity one would be, because you just don't know. You don't know,
Right. Exactly. All right. Thank you, John. Kevin.
Mine's just a recap. We still have space available for the San Francisco Backstage Magic, August 1st through the 9th. If you're interested, write to me.
That trip is guaranteed to go, though. We have enough people on it
absolutely,
that
yeah.
it's going, so it's not.
Just to those of you who have already booked, I have not had a chance to actually book you in yet. I'm going to do that this week. I have your reservations. Everything's cool. I just haven't done it with Adventures by Disney
Right.
yet.
What we have is we have a group of rooms that are guaranteed. Kevin just needs to put your name in that room.
Correct. It's been really crazy. The Viking River Cruise that we talked about last week. I have 33 people signed up.
Wow.
There is
unreal.
still space available. All of the balcony staterooms, except the French balconies, are available, and there's a one category of standard rooms left. The ship is starting to fill up. If you're interested, we've got a great group of people. I've started a thread on the Diz boards about it. If you're interested to see who else is going, and if you'd like to go, let me know. The most expensive category starts at about $5,300 a person, and it goes down to about $24 a person based on double occupancy. Single travelers pay 200% of the price, so you pay the same as two people. So if you've got a friend or a family member or a coworker who would like to travel with you, this is the time to grab them and say, we can split the cost.
And this is based strictly on cruise availability. This isn't a group that we've held.
Right.
So these are staterooms that are going away forever because people are booking them. So please act fast if you want to come with us.
I've been told that the ship starting to fill up is kind of scary. The ship is it's being sold out. It's like when you're on the plane and the person next to you says, "Oh, look, we're going down." Don't say that. The ship is not filling up. It is selling out.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Shecky.
Teresa.
December 6th and 7th is the 37th Cracker Christmas at Fort Christmas Historical Park.
And this is so cool.
This is amazing.
This is a lot of fun.
It's in Fort Christmas, Florida. It's free admission, huge craft fair, demonstrations of weaving, Dutch oven cooking, spinning, lace making, pioneer food, handmade crafts. You can tour the facilities. The fort is really cool. A lot of 4-H groups and local churches they're selling local foods like swamp cabbage, gator meat, stew and biscuits, all kinds of fun, interesting local things.
This is a very rural area. Christmas, Florida is
Yes,
a
it
very
is.
rural area. And but I'll tell you, I've only been once. It was a few years ago, and some of the stuff they were selling, the crafts, oh my gosh, they were amazing.
Jewelry alone, woo! Last year.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And so if you're in town that week, it's December 6th and the 7th.
It is the 6th and the 7th,
won't
and
be
that
here.
is the weekend we're on the cruise, but we get off the ship on the 7th, and this is on my way home. So if anybody wants to tag along and you got a car, let's go do this because it's a fun event.
It
And
is.
It's free just to go walk around and,
It is. So go craft shopping in Christmas, Florida with Teresa.
yeah, it'll be fun.
Awesome.
I think, John, you want with me, right?
There's not enough alcohol in the world.
No, this is fun. It's like the start of the Christmas season. I like it. It's been a tradition for us. Oh, that's mine.
All right. Thank you, Teresa. Mrs. Martin. Lovely to see you, by the way.
The Sound Lion retail store is coming to Disney Springs. The Orlando Business Journal is reporting that by the end of 2015, a Sound Lion retail store will open at Disney Springs. It's a store that focuses on high-tech personal listening products, including headphones, docking stations, wireless music players, and other music products. Some of the popular brands that can be found in the store would be Beats by Dre, Sony, JBL, and Earbuds. The only one that rings a bell for me is Sony.
Oh, JBL I've heard of. Beats.
And currently there are only 2 Sound Lion retail stores in the U.S., and both of them are located in Massachusetts. So I guess this is kind of a big deal that they're going outside of their normal zone. It also mentions that Baby Cakes of NYC has filed papers which suggest a new eatery could be opening at Disney Springs.
That's the gluten-free thing?
Yeah, I think so. That's all.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Julie.
Why doesn't someone just break down and put an Apple store there? Why don't they just do it?
It seems like a weird thing for a resort destination.
I think people are going to be shocked to hear me say this.
I don't want
we
an
have,
Apple store there.
We have enough Apple
Yeah.
stores. Give me something boutique. Give me something unique. Give me something I can't get every place else
And
I
this
go.
sounds
Would you
unique.
go to downtown Disney to buy earbuds?
Let me just say
If
that.
if I'm on vacation,
And you needed it.
let me tell you something. It happened in Europe where my my noise canceling headphones died on me, and I needed to get some for the trip home. So I was absolutely looking for it. So yeah, I do think that people would shop there for either headphones or whatever. I mean, music is music, and
Yeah.
we all love to listen to music, and stores like this. I'm attracted to stores like that.
I mean, look at its logo. It's so cool.
It's a cool logo.
So I'm excited to check it out.
I think that
Talk to me about music and electronics. I'm very happy.
Yep. I think also when I say at an Apple store, it's because people are going to go anyway. People who are on vacation and have a car are going to go to the malls anyway
Yep.
and shop. Why don't you put it right there? How convenient.
And-
Can you imagine the business that would do?
The more ways you can give me to listen to show tunes, I'm a happy man. A happy man. All right, thank you,
The
Julie.
Woods comes out at Christmas time.
What's that?
Into the Woods comes
I
out
can't
at
wait.
Christmas. Just saying.
Can't wait. Dustin.
Okay, I'll go. Well, as you all know, the Festival of the Masters was canceled this year due to all the craziness at downtown Disney. But the good news is there are several merchandise events scheduled for November, a lot of which include meet and greets with Disney artists at the Art of Disney in downtown Disney. So, for example, November 6th through the 9th, we'll have David E. Doss. He'll be at the Art of Disney.
Great artist. I love his stuff.
Oh, yeah. He's the one that does like the Yacht and Beach Club stuff.
No, he does like the beachy scenes.
Yeah.
And, it's very, very cool
Yeah, my
stuff.
problem
At
is
the
I don't
Welcome
know
Center
their
is at
names.
the art
Yeah,
that's on the wall.
yep.
Yeah.
We have
We
one
have a
of his
piece
pieces.
of his hanging in our
I know, I'm
hallway.
just saying, like, if Dustin reads off their names, I don't know who they are from their names, but
Yeah.
I like his stuff.
Yeah, you would definitely recognize.
And
his art.
he's a really nice guy. I actually bought some of his stuff in the Art of Disney, downtown Disney, a few years ago, and he was there signing, and we struck up a conversation. Really, really nice guy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that. Also, artist Jasmine Beckett Griffith will be at the Marketplace Co-op at downtown Disney November 7th through the 8th. A whole bunch of artists will be November 14th through the 15th at the downtown Disney Marketplace at the Art of Disney. So it's mostly the Art of Disney and the Co-op Marketplace. And we have a whole list that'll be in our show notes page of all the events that are going on for merchandise. And now it's not only just Disney artists. So there's like new events going on for, the releases of Disney Infinity characters, new merchandise for Big Hero 6.
Should be getting mine, the new ones today.
Yeah. Oh,
Is
yeah.
it like Bob Iger and
Yeah.
Yeah.
is it really?
And Jay Rasula.
It's really cool.
Yeah, the Jay Rasula in Disney Infinity
They
character.
fight
yeah.
each other. I love that.
So that's the kind of stuff that you can see on this on our website and hopefully plan to do while you're in town, because those are some of the things that you don't normally think to do when you're in Disney. But if you're at downtown Disney and you really are a fan of Disney merchandise and Disney art, you can go check out some of those events.
I bet the people who have personal appearances after the parking garage opens do better.
I bet they will too.
Awesome. Thank you, Dustin. Craig.
I don't really have anything to say,
No.
but I'll say a couple things. I'll say it anyways.
You're an enigma, Craig. You're just an enigma.
You can't stop me.
Make it up as you go. Go ahead.
So this week, a couple big things happening. The new Cinderella show, or Cinderella Castle show with Anna and Elsa, is going to be starting on Wednesday night at Twilight. So I'll probably get over to the parks to try to do a video on that, get it up before we go to Delaware. And then Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party starts on Friday, which you'll be there.
I'll be
doing
Corey?
video work for it.
I'll be there. Corey will be there.
Yeah. And the
Doing
rest of
things
us
we
will be
haven't
there.
done in a while since we hired you guys. So
But I'm sad we can't be there, but it's sold out, so people can't come and watch you guys do it. But it does start Friday, and then my
You guys got all the tickets?
all of them.
we bought the park out.
He did. It's good.
If that's true, then I'll go.
Yeah, really. If it's just the four of us, I'm there.
And then Big Hero 6 comes out this Friday. I got to see it over the weekend.
You really
It was
liked
an
it, huh?
amazing movie.
Really?
Yes.
I
wanna
got
see
tickets
it.
in the mail
We did
from
too.
Adventures by Disney.
Yeah.
ABD sent out a guest gift.
Oh, is that what I have waiting inside? I haven't opened
It
it,
is
yet.
4 tickets to see Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, two per
Was it a small
person.
envelope?
Yes.
Oh, God, I threw it away. I better
No,
go
go
open
get
it.
it.
Oh, no.
I think you should explain why we got them, because people are probably thinking,
It's
If you're an adventure insider, means you're like verbal cue cards. I've got it. I'm good.
Which means
It means
If you're an adventure insider, which means
you've booked more than.
Are you going to get hit?
shut up, Patty LuPone. It means that you've traveled on more than 2 adventures. You then become an adventure insider, and every once in a while they send out little gifts to their adventure insiders. And this time we got 4. Each person got 2 tickets to Big Hero 6.
That's
or
cool.
Real Hero 6 or Virtual Hero
And it's
6.
good from now until the end of January, or actually November 7th, I think, until the end of January.
After the holidays, but it cannot be used at an AMC theater. So
oh really? Okay.
if you've gotten one of those mailers from Adventures by Disney, that's what's inside it.
All right.
yeah.
pulled out
Great.
the trash, Julie.
Thank you,
I'm like, I
Craig.
can't go on this trash.
All right. I want to go over the top 10 threads from disboards.com for last month. A couple of interesting ones popped up again this month. Number 10, the 2014 Beach and Yacht Club FAQ on the resorts board, started by Nate Ben Ma. On our resorts forum, just for those who don't know, there are FAQ threads for all the Disney resorts, and they're amazing. They have so much information, pictures, room layouts, anything you want to know. This is where the fans of the resort of the individual resorts go and kind of share their love of Disney resorts and their information, and it's a great resource if you're doing trip planning and research. Number 9, our good friend, I drive a Dodge Stratus. I drive a Lumina. Stateroom Mickey Ears and then some on the DCL forum. Again, another great thread. Now this is a stalwart. This has been pretty much in the top 10 now for 2 years. Since we started doing this,
Yeah,
this has remained in the top 10. And this is guidelines for creating things to decorate your stateroom door. And there's all sorts of templates of things you can print out and instructions on how to make the magnets, because it has to be magnetic, it can't be adhesive. And so this is another great thread that you should check out if you're doing a cruise and want to decorate your stateroom door. Number 8, sadly an all too familiar theme on the board lately. We too are done with Disney for a while. Theme parks, attractions, and strategies. Connie 1042. I thought this was a really thoughtful post. Unlike some of the other ones where it just kind of gets crazy, this was a very thoughtful post, and it made me sad to read. It really did. That there are people that feel that with the changes that are happening with FastPass Plus, that they need to just not come back for a while because it's just too stressful and it's too much involved in it, and
Do you know what the biggest complaint I keep hearing over and over and over again, all throughout the year, is that the park is just too crowded.
It's very crowded.
And just all the time.
But I'll tell you something, it's not just Disney.
Universal was crowded.
Universal was very crowded this weekend. I thought yesterday, a Monday in November, it was going to be really dead. It wasn't. And, fortunately with, Universal, if you're staying on site, you have that express pass, you don't wait in any lines for the vast majority.
Not if you stay at
of the
Cabana Bay.
attractions, but not Cabana Bay. If you're staying at Royal Pacific, Hard Rock, or Portofino Bay, your room key entitles you to an express pass that's unlimited, that you can just keep going on things. And
I like Cabana Bay enough that it would be worth it to me. I love
And
that
just
hotel.
pay the extra for the express pass.
I want those
would.
minion rooms. I want Ferris and Finley to sleep in the little rocket beds.
but it's definitely a sad, almost regular thing now. Every month that we do the top 10, that at least one thread like this gets in there. So, number 7 on the community board by Alice and Ariel. With Ebola in the States, will it affect your plans? This was actually a poll that was started, and this is one of 2 polls on Ebola that made it into the top 10. Obviously, Ebola being a big topic last month. And the poll asks, will the threat of Ebola affect your plans? Yes, we'll be canceling and watching the disease very carefully. 3 people answered that. Yes, but I'm not sure how much it will affect my plans. 8 people answered that. Not sure. Let's give it another month to see. That was 26 people, or 13%. No, we will not be canceling. The mouse is invincible. 98 people, or just under 50% of the vote went to that. No, but I may be more careful about things while I'm there. 32% of the people, 63 votes. And I realize the hype has died down some now that while there have been a few deaths here as a result of Ebola, the cases that have cropped up,
just one
death, right?
Yeah.
The rest of them seem to be thankfully getting better. People are starting to understand it's not the same here as it is in Africa, in some of the African countries where the outbreak is prevalent. That's because of the medical care we have here, the sanitation we have here. There's a lot of differences.
I just heard a statistic that sort of put things in perspective. 22,000 people died of the flu last year.
Right.
Did the flu keep you away from your vacation?
Right. Well, it's when they start using your intestines liquefy and things like that.
The media is not helping.
The media hypes it up and people buy into it. This is a very difficult illness to contract. You're not going to get this, sitting next to somebody on a bus.
Yeah.
Unless they vomit directly into your mouth, and then maybe. But
I'm much more scared of the avian flu. That possibility frightens me to no end. Ebola doesn't scare me at all.
He's kidding.
No.
You're really afraid of the avian flu?
Yeah, if that ever broke out, there's no cure for it, and it's like birds carry it. It's crazy.
All right, Tippy Hedren, let's move on.
But
stay out of the attic.
Number six on our list is another thread lamenting FastPass Plus. FastPass Plus is now completely worthless if you are staying off-site. Theme parks, attractions, and strategies. Ametista posted that, and I don't. Why is it completely worthless if you're staying off-site? Let's read her thread.
To find out.
This sounds like a book on tape.
Okay.
Wow.
Did you see what just happened there?
I had like the weirdest transition ever.
That was like this screen came up in slow motion. It was weird. Oh, that's right. I did read this. Because she signed in because off-site guests get 30-day window versus on-site guests getting 60-day window. And I signed in for my FastPass selections at midnight Eastern time, but lo and behold, everything good has ended for the day. So basically, unless you stay on-site, you will not get FastPasses for anything really good because the on-site peeps with their 60-day window get to pick and choose first. So now after 9 years of multiple Disney trips a year, I am left with the leftovers.
I want to say this, though, too. 60 days out doesn't guarantee you the good rides either.
Yeah, you got people complaining about that, too.
Right, exactly.
But we talked about this once before. We have a friend who travels here quite frequently. And what she said was that she feels that the way Disney was all welcoming. Come in, come in, come in. She said, I felt like I was being taken care of. She said, now, with the fact that she's one of those people who wants to ride something and get back off and re-ride it kind of thing, and if you were willing to do that line, you could do that as many times as you wanted to. And I realized you could still do that. But she said now she feels that it's more an adversarial relationship with Disney, that you have to sort of have strategies to get on even the simplest things. And she said she feels very differently about it. And, after multiple trips a year, I can understand. I have that same feeling. It's kind of like all of a sudden this went from my free, easy place where I don't have to think about anything to now I have to buy a wristband. And if you're staying off price, you not only have to buy a ticket, you have to buy a wristband.
But here's the thing, is that the vast majority of people that are on our site, that especially on the boards, these are obsessive compulsive planners. And I'm one of them. That's not a pejorative here. I'm one of them. Obsessive compulsive planners, and have been. That's the whole reason Disboards exists. It's the whole reason the site exists. And all of a sudden, Disney quantifying planning the way they're doing this is suddenly a big issue. People have been obsessing over these things for years.
But planning was different. You could plan which ride you were going to go on, and you either got a fast pass in the morning or you didn't. This means now, if you don't have a fast pass, there are certain things you can't even plan on then. You're planning.
You can still wait. Unless they do away with the standby lines, there's still the standby lines. You can
but
get on a
what's happened
standby
is those
line.
standby lines have tripled and quadrupled.
I understand.
But so what they've done, though, is then they've made it a little more difficult for you. If you were one of those people who didn't want to, you weren't moving the troops west, you just wanted to go and have a good day.
But I think this is part and parcel of kind of our society right now in terms of waiting online. I'm one of those people that if I see a 45-minute wait, I'm out of here. I'm not doing it. Well, over the weekend, I was in a position where I kind of had to. And I'm getting onto this line, and I'm like, 45 minutes, Lord in heaven, this is ridiculous. You know what? The world didn't end, and it went by a lot faster than I thought it was going to, and I had a great time, and so did my family, and I think it's this idea that we just live in an environment where we have to have it, and we have to have it now, and we're not going to wait, and lines aren't okay, and this isn't okay. I want what I want when I want it. And I think Disney making some of these changes has brought that out in people. Because that's what a lot of this sounds. I want what I want when I want it. And you know what? So does everybody else walking through those turnstiles.
See, the problem is I didn't have any problem waiting in line. I do have a problem waiting in line 4 times longer because the other line is only for people who
But
are
I don't think it's necessarily 4 times longer. I think on some attractions that did not have FastPass before, yes, that there are lines now, but even like on Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, so there's a 20-minute wait or a 30-minute wait. Is it really the end of the world? Is it really worth just, I will never step foot in Disney again? Blah, blah, blah. I think people throwing the baby out with the bathwater. That's my feeling.
It's changed the way I feel about it.
But
it really has.
I think that's because it's change. And I think people don't always embrace change. And, you know, they like it the way they like it, and now it's changing. And doesn't matter that, you know, I think some people are going in with a negative attitude. They're just saying, this is going to suck. And if, you know, whether you think it's going to suck or not, you're right. Because if that's the attitude you have when you go into the park, that's going to color everything. And I think that's some of what's happening too. Look, again, I'll say I do not fault people who feel that they don't want to go back, that this isn't for them. I'm not saying you're wrong. That's not how I feel for me. And that doesn't mean that everybody else is wrong. It's just how I feel. That, you know, and I'm sad. It actually doesn't make me angry or upset. It makes me sad to hear that people feel that way. Because I feel like, you know, you have a love of Disney and you're letting this get in the way. And
do you think they're just being overly dramatic, though, and they're really going to go back?
I think some people are, but I think other people aren't. Like I said, the one thread, we two are done with Disney for a while. I didn't find that overly dramatic. I didn't find that, you know, I found it was, you know,
just
really
stating a fact.
Yeah.
I would certainly hope that you don't think I'm being overly dramatic. I'm not. It's colored my opinion. That and the fact that it's just the parks are so crowded. Everything about it seems to have become more complicated.
But there's more people in the world now, and it's a different world from 1971. I have to keep telling myself that because you want it the way it used to be. I'm going to cry over this stupid thing. This is so stupid.
You said it, and you made yourself cry.
Really, it wasn't even any of us.
Man, this is too complicated.
And they're really cute. They'll make you
Oh, they
smile.
are cute. Thank you. These are cute. Anyway.
All right. Number 5, new guidelines, canceled ADR thread. There is a thread on the Disney Dining Forum where if you have a coveted ADR that you're going to cancel, you can post information about it in hopes that maybe someone else can get it. That was started by one of our moderators, Pumbaa, on the Disney Dining Forum. Number 4 is the other poll. Would you cancel a non-refundable vacation over an Ebola threat? If you had a vacation that was non-refundable and there was an Ebola outbreak or a report of Ebola here in Orlando, would you cancel that? This is on the theme parks board, started by Marathon. And 77%, almost 78% of the people said they would not cancel. Only 8 people, under 2%, said they would cancel the trip right now. 18% said they would cancel the trip only if a case is identified in Florida or there are more outbreaks across the country. So
In just the state of Florida?
So it could be in
That's how-
Tallahassee.
I'm just
and they
reading
would
it the
not
way
come
it's
to
written.
Orlando.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
but and then 14 people said other. Number 3,
Backup plan.
also on the Disney Restaurants Forum, posted by Andre Willie, Be Our Guest Lunch FastPass thread. Number 2, Toy Story Mania Standby Less test by Missy Rose on the theme parks board. That's discussing the thread we were talking about last month about them testing Toy Story Mania without a standby line.
Yeah.
And again, the number 1 thread on disboards.com for the month of October by Mesa Boy 2 on theme parks, FastPass Plus basic info. Tells me that, well, it's a great thread, but that this is information people are hungry for. Because when I say, again, you know, he's this year's Jess, because this thread is number 1 by a mile. It's not even close. There's been a couple of months where it's been a little tighter, But, this is the runaway thread of the year now. FastPass Plus basic info. And again, links to all of this and everything we talk about on the show you can find on our show notes page, disunplugged.com. Just scroll down to this week's show and click on more info and links to the videos, the audio, and all the things that we're talking about on the show will be found there. So that is going to do it for me for this week. Coming up next, Dustin and the team will talk about what's on their Disney bucket list based on a article that Kathy Whirling wrote. I think it was last week or the week before. It was a great article. So that's going to do it for me. Thanks, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back with you again next time with another edition of the Diz Unplugged. Thanks for being with us. And remember, stay out of the damn lakes. Have a great week.